Hi everybody, it's Kathy Zilski. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'd like to wish you all a happy STAMPtember. And I'm excited about the card projects that I will be sharing today. In this video, I have a brand new set and some word dies, and I wanted to create some good luck cards, one for each of my children. It's a big time of transition in our house. One kid's starting college and one kid's starting grad school. And today I'm going to show you how I created one of the two cards. But both have a great simple background stamp and tone-on-tone stamping. So let's look at the products that I used to create the card. This is the Great Things set. And I designed this purely with both of my kids in mind because I knew we were coming up on some pretty big transition. So I've got good luck, you're going to kill it, seize the day, you will do great things. G is for good luck. Also in this, oh yeah, good luck with that. Thought that was a little snarky. It made me think of SpongeBob. Speaking of my kids. And don't stop believing. Hold on to that feel-a-yen. Thank you. That's for a whole other card and a whole other video. But I do have coordinating dies to cut out some of the sentiments. And then I also designed a good luck standalone word die and shadow. I love doing word dies and shadows. I just think they're a really clean graphic way to add a title to a card. And this is the background. It's the brand new plank background. This is a brand new release for STAMPtember. And I just thought it was cool and would make for a really cool masculine card. And that was what I'm starting out with today. So I'm using Versamark, two different sizes, and you'll see why later in the video. And I've got two different embossing powders. I've got a black one called, it's a Raven is the color, and Alabaster is white, both from Brutus, Monroe. I'm talking too fast. Gina K Connect glue, love this glue. I've got an acrylic block, and then a selection of foam adhesive. I've got fun foam that I've already cut, some foam squares, but I've got some cardstock selections here. So I've got SLATE for my card base, a little bit of black licorice from Fawn, some Neenah Solar White for my word cut die title. I've got some Cilantro from Fawn, and then also a little bit of this smoke color from Simon. This was my palette thinking, you know, masculine card. Anyway, it's going to work out, I promise. Got my MISTI, can't stamp without it. And also because of the background stamp, I really needed to make sure that I had my MISTI so that I got a good impression. And that's where we're going to start here. So I'm going to take out the insert because if you're using a cling stamp, you need to have more room for the stamp. I'm going to peel off the backer and set that aside, and then just place the stamp right inside the MISTI. Then I'm going to line up my panel, this is the black licorice, right on to the stamp, kind of where I want it to be. Add a little tape folded back over on itself, and then I'm going to pick that up with the MISTI door. That tape is going to hold the paper in place and allow me to give a really good press down. Now I'm going to cover this whole panel with Embossing Magic, that powder, just to remove all the static and oil. And I'm going to use my Versamark pad and really give a good coating onto this cling stamp. And I don't have to cover the full stamp because I'm not stamping a full 6x6 image, but I've definitely got enough on there to fill this card panel. And the reason I like to do it this way is now I can press really hard all over the area to get a good transfer of ink. And when you see right there, I was really happy with how that turned out. Now for the black embossing powder. This is a new powder for me. I just purchased this. I've never used black embossing powder, but I just thought it would be a cool, shiny tone-on-tone effect, and that is what I was going for. But this is really nice black embossing powder. So I'm just going to shake this all over. And I actually thought it was kind of cool having the tape on there. It gave me something to hold on to on the back. And get this all tapped on. But this is what you should never do. Do you see that, how it all went flying? I blew it all off before I put the embossing powder back in. And yeah, I wasted some powder. But thank God for those Swiffer wipes, right? They just pick it all up, people. All right. My heat tool is nice and hot, and I'm holding a clothespin here just so I don't have to touch the edge. And I've heat set that so it's all shiny. Now, once I'm done and everything's cool to the touch and it's all well embossed, you can take a lint-free cloth and wipe off the excess embossing magic, because sometimes it makes your darker cardstock look a little chalky, so I keep an e-cloth handy for that sole purpose. And now it's a little warped, and when I have the time, this is just something I do. I stick my panel inside a book and put the book under something heavy. You can also put your panel between a clean folded sheet of light copy paper and run it through your die cut machine, but when I've got the time, and I do, I just stick it in there. Now I'm going to cut out 3 of the good luck words from some Neenah Solar White, 80 pound. This is just the 80 pound. I figured, yeah, it doesn't need to be too thick, but it'll be thick enough. And I'll do 3 of these, and that will be done off camera. So those are cut out, and now I'm going to use that mid-tone gray to cut my shadow layer. I'm going to run that through my Spellbinders Platinum 6, pop that out, and I really love word and shadow dies. I think they're cool. I think it also is nice because, you know, it helps you line everything up on your card. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to glue, people. I like this Elmer's spray adhesive, so I'm going to spray this off camera in a big box, and I am going to hold my breath. I promise I will not be breathing this into my lungs. I really do. Take a super deep breath. But have you ever noticed sometimes when you pop something out of your die and it has like the little nubbies from the poke holes? You can use a bone folder, especially this Teflon bone folder, to kind of rub them out. If you're gentle, I do this all the time, and that thing works so well to just kind of smooth them out. Now, very gently, because this is kind of a delicate die, you can line that up. It's a little sticky, but I've got layer number 1 and layer number 2. I like that spray adhesive because it really does make it quicker to get a nice coating of adhesive over the entire die. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to just slap a little, it's sticking. I'm going to slap a brick on there, set it aside, let it really adhere. And then I've added the adhesive to the back of the stacked word die and just putting that right on to the shadow die. And there's a little time to kind of move and make sure it's all in the right place. And once you get it in the right place, again, stick a brick on it, walk away. Okay. Now I'm going to take just a couple of these little clovers. I thought this card could use a little bit of color, not too much, because I don't want to freak my son out. But I'm going to stamp just 4 of them because I don't know how many I want. I thought I wanted 3. I ended up only using 2, but I'm using the Cilantro cardstock and the white alabaster powder. And again, just getting a coating on there, tapping off the excess. And then I'm going to go ahead and heat set these little clovers with my heat tool. Look at that, just like magic. Embossing is like magic. Okay, now to cut these out, I'm not always great with the dies, so I have started creating templates where I cut a template using another piece of cardstock to help me see what the heck I'm doing, because I really do mess up on die cutting quite a bit. So once you get this framed out right, you tape it down, and then your die locks into place. You just kind of position it until you can feel it snap into the hole you already cut with it. And then when you run this through your die cut machine, you have a lovely, perfectly cut die. Although sometimes I will say, check the size of your die, because sometimes the cardstock sticks to it. And you want to make sure it's, you want to make sure it's perfect. All right, now I'm going to cut the panel that has been sitting in a book, and I'm trimming this down to, I think it's 5 inches wide by 3 3/4 tall, and that's going to be the inside panel. Look at how shiny that is. Isn't that cool? I love it. Now I'm using some scrapbook adhesives, tape runner. I love this stuff. It's very sticky, and it's really nice for adhering fun foam to your paper panel. So I lay that stuff down, take my piece of fun foam, which I've already trimmed, and then I can quickly press it down, and it's a really nice sticky tape. It's not going anywhere. Then the nice thing about fun foam too, it gives you a more even dimension, and it can also help smooth out some of that warping that might happen when you've heat embossed an entire panel. Now I'm going to make my card base, and this is going to be more of a landscape card, so it's going to be 4 1/4 inches tall by 5 1/2 wide. And I'm just going to go ahead and score this a few times to get the nice fold. Bend that over and press it down, and that is my card base. Now I'm going to use some Gina K Connect glue for this part because I love to adhere the foam mounted panel with liquid glue, because what this allows is a little bit of wiggle room. You know, when you're putting something down and you're afraid you're not going to get it in the right place, because I am looking straight down over the top of my iPhone here to just kind of press it into place, and then again stick a big block on it and walk away. Now I need to make a quick little sentiment, so I've cut a little strip of cilantro cardstock. I think it's about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm using my little cube here because sometimes a big cube just gets ink everywhere, or, you know, the full-size pad. And now I'm going to take a deep breath and free range stamp it. Yes, I'm not using my MISTI. Most of the time, only use a MISTI. But sometimes I roll the dice, and you know what? Hey, I seized the day. Thank you. But that actually did stamp pretty well. So I'm going to quickly heat set that, and that's going to be my little sub sentiment on my card. So this is the general layout that I want to have. I'm going to flip over that little strip because I want to mark off where I'm going to trim it. I just want to trim it by hand really quickly and snip that off with my little cutter bee scissors. I love these scissors. And then add a little notch in the center, or a little cut in the center, and then come in from side to side to create a quick little banner. And as I was looking at that banner, I laid it down and I thought, yeah, you didn't quite get it straight. So I just came back and just cut a little bit more because I wanted them both to just to come to a point. Not one in a point and one in a slight nub. All right. Now I've kind of got the general layout here. This is what I want to do. So I'm taking everything off except for the good luck. And I'm going to use my T-square clear ruler because that really does help to quickly line something up and make sure it's straight. I've got thin foam squares covering the back of the good luck, so it gets a little pop up but not overkill, considering I've already got the whole panel mounted on some fun foam. But that looks great, and now once that's straight, everything else can get adhered. And the Seize the Day also has the thin foam squares, as do the clovers. And that is the general card layout. I really like this. I think this is going to be nice. I'm going to write a little letter and tuck it into my son's stuff so that hopefully he sees it after he's moved in, and just, yeah, send him some good luck, because you know what? It's a lot of change coming. Anytime you make a big transition, I think a little luck can, well, hopefully go a long way to make the transition easier. And of course, for my daughter, she is also starting law school, and this is a card using the same background stamp that I used on his card, but this definitely has a more girly look and feel. Not that we have to have girly be one way or the other, but I think you know what I mean. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you back here again soon with more card projects.